of bitterness and sweetness, the experiment as a projector. There are days when I reach my limits in this projector mechanic. There are such days where you listen differently and see yourself from a new light. So I wrote it out freely and share it with you. Please consider the following as inspiration and not as a guide for your life. Don't believe me. For the past few weeks, I've been in the 4th year of my human design experiment. In August 2018, I had radically started the experiment from my perspective. I had my first reading from a reflector around June 2018. I didn't think I would stick with something consistently for such a long time. That has really happened to me very rarely, no matter what I relate it to in my life. This may well be due to many third lines in my abstract nature. For over 3 years now, I've been living out as radically as I can what the bodygraph has revealed to me, and I'm still learning something every day. There have been ups and downs, and there still are. There were moments when I wanted to forget human design, and there were glorious moments of Satori. There were times when I didn't know what or who I was at all, and there were times when I was as clear and precise as a ray of light. What a trip. Possibly I'm writing this because there's little to read about the experiment itself, and there's little to read about the projector in the experiment. What I can tell you clearly at just under halfway through the 7-year conditioning is everyone who says it's nice and it's all going to be great and easy and wonderful is probably lying to you. But of course, this is just my unique experience. Deconditioning is no walk in the park. It goes to the core and shakes everything you think you are. It washes all the dirt to the surface, and you can't refuse any further and have to see things for that, what they are, You're standing in a Atari, checkmate, so to speak. It is, for me personally, the most intense thing I've experienced so far, and here it should be said that I have really gone through some intense things in my life. So now I sit here and I write myself out, or now I speak it. I write things out of me because it helps me for reflection, and it helps you, most likely, as inspiration, or not. This is something that I can see well by now. I can see more and more what my true nature and purpose is. I know fundamentally more often when I'm off track, off my geometry. And although it is simple, it is at the same time so enormously difficult. Why? Is unimportant at this point, because accepting things is the highest priority. This small but subtle word brings so much force when it is allowed to integrate into life. Acceptance is not tolerating or wield ignoring. I would say it is tough, fair, and ultimately always brings relaxation. And relaxation is something very important, at least from my point of view, because it is the opposite of tension, stress, pressure, nervousness, anxiety, all that destructiveness that can reign in the open centers, which leads me back to the projector. Because after all, I am one too, and the importance of understanding the bodygraph seems huge to me for this mechanics. My bodygraph shows me only 2 colored centers at the very top, and they are connected with one channel. A design of mental activity and clarity, I read. Type projector, it says in the margin. Not self-subject, bitterness, my gaze discovers. What can you give such a being along the way, I think aloud to myself. First of all, the projector is a mechanic that is very different from any other. It's a mechanism that has not been around that long. The upgrade and the counterpart to the manifester took place in 17A1, according to Raoul. It is a being that carries deep wisdom, which is not only related to knowledge, built for the top of the natural hierarchy, if you look at the types, as a king without scepter and only recognizable by the correct forces, passive and without own power of manifesting or generating. Created for efficiency, a nature that represents the intellect as manifest and lives it out in a focused and absorbing way, opening the aura of the manifester principle to get into real contact with the counterpart, its leadership 2.0. Sounds really heroic and seems more than necessary in this current world, but who understands it really? Who among the projectors lives it?